my name is Arielle and welcome back to my channel. I'm currently through hiking the Pacific Crest Trail and I'm actually currently in Kennedy Meadows, which means I have officially completed the 700 miles of the Southern California or desert section of the trail, which is totally insane to me and also very, very exciting. And in that time, one of the most common questions I've gotten from you guys is, have I made any switches to my gear? And the answer is yes. So I have done a full breakdown of all of the gear that I started the trail with, and if you want to check that out, I will put the link in the description box below. And so anything that I don't bring up in this video, you can just assume is unchanged. Most of my gear has been awesome and has done exactly what I needed it to, but there has been some unexpected things that have come up along the way that has encouraged me to change certain pieces of gear. So I'm just going to go through that real quickly right now. Okay, so one of the first things I swapped out on trail was my water filter. I did talk about that possibility in my gear video, and yeah, after like just the first stretch, I decided it was the right call. So I started with a Sawyer Mini and I changed to a Sawyer Squeeze just because the flow rate is so much better that it's worth having a little bit of a bigger filter. I also added this like coupling piece which screws right onto your smart water bottle, which makes filtering so much easier. So yes, this was one of the very first things I changed. So something else that I changed early in the trail was my sit pad option. I started with one of the very small ultralight sit pad, which basically is just enough real estate for your butt. And I know that that's plenty for some people, or some people actually don't use a sit pad at all, but I actually found that it was not enough for me. I really like to stretch at the end of the day, and I really wanted a pad that was big enough that I could at least do some stretches on it, whereas that one I really couldn't. So in Julian, I upgraded to one of the like foldable like sleep pads, and I split it with a friend. So we bought the full length one and we cut it in half, so we each had like 7 panels and I was using it both as like a sit pad and for stretching, as well as just an extra layer under my sleep pad just in case, to protect it from pokey things underneath, because I do have a blow up sleep pad. So that was an awesome option and I rolled with that for a while until I came across this guy. This is a 1/8 foam mat and it's basically like the size of a yoga mat, but it's very, very, very thin. It obviously folds down very small, and it's much lighter than that like collapsible foldable foam pad. So this has been an awesome option, and they are often sold out online, so sometimes they can be hard to come by, but I really recommend this. Again, it's a 1/8 foam mat pad and it's awesome. Speaking of sleeping pads, this is also something that I have had to replace. So I started the trail with a Shorty Neo Air, which is like the short one. It's basically just to your knees. And I also did not enjoy it because my knees could like hang over the edge of it, and I tend to like kind of roll around and sleep on my stomach, on my side, and so it was just not quite enough real estate for me for sleeping comfortably. I had a full length blow up one that I had used on the Tahoe Rim Trail from Nemo, and so my husband had brought that for the 100 miles, and when he left I sent him home with the Shorty and I grabbed the longer one, which was perfect for me until I popped it and unfortunately had to replace it. So I now have a full length Neo Air and it has been great so far. I definitely feel like everybody's different, but I'm learning that I like the extra real estate to have it all the way down to my feet length. So yeah, hopefully I can keep this one going till the end without also popping this one. Around Big Bear, I started exploring the idea of changing out my stove. I started the trail with like a fuller size, kind of more regular Jetboil, and I decided I wanted to see if I could get by with something a little bit lighter. So this is the Jetboil Flash, I believe it's called, and it's about half the weight and like it's kind of a different shape and size, and I have actually been really liking this. I haven't noticed that it actually takes any longer to boil, which was my biggest concern with switching, especially in the desert where it can be so windy some nights. And I have been really happy with my change, so this will definitely be the stove that I carry all the way till the end. So I have also swapped out my shoes, but I did not change styles of shoes. I started the trail with Brooks Cascadia, and I'm still hiking in Brooks Cascadia, but I wore out the bottom after about 400 miles and decided to go up a half size, which has been really, really wonderful. So these are the same style of shoe, just a half size bigger, and I'm actually getting to a point where I might need a third pair here soon because I'm starting to wear through the bottoms of these as well. But I've been loving these shoes. I, like pretty much everyone, did get a couple of blisters really early in the trail, but as soon as I got those like managed, then they just turned into calluses, and I basically haven't had a blister in the last 500 miles. So feet are doing well, loving these shoes. This is a great option for people who maybe have a little bit narrower of feet like me. Okay, so I'm not gonna lie, this is like my 10th pair. Okay, maybe that's a little of an exaggeration, but I've definitely gone through quite a few pairs of these Injinji toe socks. I love them. Like I said, I've been basically blister-free, and I've been completely blister-free in the toe region, which is, I think, thanks to having these toe socks. But I seem to blow through the big toe, not even on a seam, just like literally in the middle of the big toe, much faster than you think you should. So I have been loving these socks, but the one thing I haven't been loving is how often I've had to buy new pairs. I wish they lasted a little bit longer, but I'm also just like not willing to try a new pair because blisters. I just don't want them, and I finally feel like I figured out what works for me. All right, so something I added before here in Kennedy Meadows, but have not carried the whole way through, have been my Microspikes. I ended up getting some ultralight, like black diamond trail running Microspikes, and I haven't had to use them yet. I did carry them for Jacinto and Baden Powell just in case, and then I mailed them forward so that I can have them here as we enter the Sierra. So these have been something that have lived in my bag for, yeah, a couple hundred miles of the 700 that we've hiked so far, but I have yet to put them on my feet yet, so I don't have any opinion about what I think of these, but at least they're light enough that it wasn't too big of a burden to carry them even when I didn't need them. Okay, so that's everything I changed for the desert section of the trail, which is very few things if you really think about it. I really have loved most of my gear. That being said, I am currently in Kennedy Meadows, which means that I am headed into the Sierra tomorrow, and there are a couple of specific pieces of gear that I'm adding to my gear list right now as I head in. So I'm just going to break down what those are as well. First and foremost, the infamous bear canister. This is required for most of this section. This is probably the piece of gear that most hikers look forward to the least look forward to having to carry. You know what I mean. So this guy I'm adding in, it is the bigger model and it is extremely awkward, but that being said, our water carries should be a little bit less. So the 2 pounds of bear canister will hopefully just replace the 2 pounds of water that I have been carrying for the last 700 miles. Something else that I'm adding to my pack for the Sierra is rain pants. I will put the name and style down in the description box below with a link. This will be a really helpful layer for cold mornings or if we get any weather, but also I think the main use a lot of people use these for in the Sierra is glissading. So if there's snow on some of the passes, you can potentially slide down on your butt instead of walking down. So I am adding these into the mix for all of those possible uses. And then last but not least, I am attaching the brain back to my backpack. The brain is this kind of like upper pocket section of this pack. I don't know if you can tell in the camera, but it's like a completely different color from the rest of my pack because I have not used it yet while the rest of my pack has traveled 700 miles with me. But with the bear canister, it is a little bit harder to fit everything in my pack the way I have been. So I'm gonna try this out. In a perfect world, I would love to be able to carry everything without this because I like just how it cinches down and how I can like attach everything to it. I've gotten really used to that, but at the same time, maybe having a little bit of extra space will be helpful. So I'm trying that on for this section, and then I will for sure take this back off once I get rid of the bear canister because yeah, the pack has plenty of space for everything that I need without the bear can included. All right, those are the gear changes I made in the first 700 miles of the trail and the additional things I am bringing as I head into the Sierra section of the trail. If you enjoy PCT content and want a little bit more, I am actually vlogging and have quite a few episodes live already, so you can check those out over on my channel. And I will continue to post new vlog episodes every single Sunday until I finish the trail. So Sunday, 9 a.m. Pacific time. If that's something that you're interested in, I highly recommend you subscribe to my channel. And as always, if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. It really does support me. Other than that, I hope you have an amazing day, and I will see you in future videos.